I always believed in preparation, not fear. I told myself that before anyone else could judge me. Lena used to laugh when I said it. Why do we need all this? She asked one night, tapping a stack of canned food. Are you planning for the end of the world? I'm planning for life, I said. Life fails sometimes. She rolled her eyes. Normal people don't live like this. I grew up watching power shut off without warning. I watched my mother count coins in the dark. I learned early that systems break and promises don't hold. That lesson stayed with me. Normal people go out, Lena said. They travel. They don't store water in the garage. I smiled, trying to keep peace. Normal people also panic when things go wrong. She laughed, sharp and careless. You really think you're smarter than everyone? I didn't answer. I just kept building at dinner parties, she joked. My husband thinks the apocalypse is coming. Her friends laughed. I laughed too a second late. Later, alone, I asked, Does it bother you? She shrugged. It's embarrassing. You used to be confident. Now you're obsessed. I'm careful, I said. No, she replied. You're paranoid. That word stuck. Paranoid. It replaced smart. It replaced reliable. It replaced husband. I worked extra hours to pay for solar panels and batteries. I tested generators at night. I labeled shelves. I checked water filters. Lena stopped asking what I was doing. You love this stuff more than me, she said once. That's not fair, I answered. This is for us, she crossed her arms. You don't trust the world. That makes me tired. I wanted to say I didn't trust luck. I wanted to say love wasn't enough when things collapsed. Instead, I stayed quiet. She started coming home late. She guarded her phone. When I asked, she sighed like I was a burden. Can we not fight tonight? She said. I had a long day. I nodded. Sure. But the silence felt louder than any argument. One evening, I found her staring at the pantry door. You really think this will save us? She asked softly. I think it gives us a chance, I said. She shook her head. I don't want a life built on fear. I watched her walk away. I felt something stretching thin between us like a rope ready to snap. I checked my supplies that night with shaking hands, not because I doubted them, but because I felt something worse than disaster coming, and I didn't know how to prepare for losing her. I lay awake listening to her breathing. Each breath felt farther away. I whispered, Are we okay? She didn't answer. In the dark, I remembered being a kid promising myself I would never be helpless again. I didn't expect that promise to cost me my marriage. The next morning, she kissed my cheek like a habit, not a feeling. Don't wait up, she said. I watched the door close. My chest tightened. I checked the locks, the lights, the battery levels. Everything worked. My life didn't. I told myself I could fix anything with enough planning. That lie felt heavy. When she came home late again, she said, We need to talk. I nodded. Okay. Her voice sounded calm. Too calm. I realized then that disasters don't always announce themselves. Some of them smile at you, pack their bags, and leave you standing in a house full of supplies, unprepared for the moment everything you love decides you're no longer enough. I felt it coming, like distant thunder, low and unstoppable. I stood there alone, telling myself I was ready, even as my hands shook. Because no amount of preparation could stop the slow collapse of a marriage already breaking. And I knew something terrible was close, even if I didn't know when it would finally hit me hard. I came home expecting noise, maybe a comment about dinner or a complaint about my boots by the door. Instead, the house felt staged. Too quiet, too clean. What's this? I asked, even though I already knew. Lena stood near the counter with her arms crossed. Just read it. I picked up the papers from the kitchen table. The word divorce hit me like a punch. My chest tightened. My hands shook so badly the pages rattled. You're serious? I asked. Yes, she said. I'm done. Done with what? I said, with us? With this, she replied, gesturing around. With you. With being married to a doomsday freak. That's not fair, I said. You know why I do this, she laughed, short and cold. You hoard food like the world owes you something. I prepare, I said. There's a difference. You spent thousands, she said, on junk. Batteries, tanks, crap we'll never use. It's not junk, I said. It's security. She shook her head. You embarrassed me. My friends think you're unstable. So this is about them? I asked. It's about me being tired, she said. Tired of living with fear. I'm not afraid, I said. I'm realistic. You chose fear over me, she snapped. Every time. That's not true, I said. I chose us. She looked away. If that were true, you'd be different, I swallowed. Is there someone else? Her eyes flashed. Don't do that, is there? I asked again. She hesitated. You're always suspicious. That's not an answer, I said. She exhaled hard. There's a guy at work, Mark. He listens. He doesn't live like the sky is falling. So you talked, I said. Yes, she said, because I could breathe. I nodded slowly. Did you sleep with him? She didn't answer right away. That was enough. You planned this, I said. You didn't just wake up and decide. I planned my escape, she said. From a life that suffocates me. I looked back at the papers. My name looked small on them. Sign, she said. Let's not drag this out. You don't want to talk? I asked. Counseling? I already decided, she said. I'm moving on. I wanted to argue. I wanted to beg. Instead, I felt tired down to my bones. I picked up the pen. Wait, she said, softer. You're really just going to sign? I looked at her. What do you want me to do? Fight, she said. I've been fighting for years, I replied. My hand moved. The pen scratched across the paper. My signature looked wrong, like it belonged to someone else. She stared at it. That's it. That's it, I said. She gathered the papers and put them in her bag. I'll be back for my things. Take whatever you want, I said. She paused at the door. You're not normal. I nodded. I know. The door closed. The sound echoed. I stood alone in the kitchen. The lights hummed. The generators outside kicked on automatically as the power dipped for a second. I sat at the table and listened to the steady mechanical sound. I wondered if I really was crazy, or if I was the only sane man left in a world that laughed at preparation until the moment it begged for it. The house felt bigger after she left. Not louder, not sad. Just empty. Lena packed fast. I'll take the couch, she said. The bed too. Take it, I replied. She pointed at the TV. That's mine. Sure. She ignored the shelves, the water barrels, the generator. I don't want that junk. It's not junk, I said. She smiled like she was done explaining things to a child. You can keep your fear. I didn't answer. Silence was easier. The door closed. No argument followed. That was new. I stood in the living room and said out loud, well, that's that. No one replied. Days passed. I settled into routines. I checked seals. I rotated food. I tested batteries. Still doing this? I muttered to myself. Yes, I answered. Because it works. I stopped checking my phone for her name. That surprised me. Ethan called one night. You alone? Yeah, I said. Good, he replied. Listen carefully. What's up? Supplies are stalling, he said. Ships aren't unloading. Warehouses are quiet. That's been happening, I said. Not like this, he replied. Something's off. I leaned against the counter. You think it's big? I think it's close, he said. I didn't panic. I didn't rush. Thanks for telling me. That's it? He asked. That's it, I said. Man, he said, you've changed. Yeah, I replied. So has my house. We hung up. I checked the radio. Static. Normal static. I scrolled through my phone. Lena's profile popped up. Beach photos. Wine glasses. A caption said, finally free. I laughed once. It came out dry. So that's freedom, I said. She looked lighter, happier. Like I had been the weight. I set the phone down. Good for you. At night, the silence felt different without fights. No tension. No waiting for the next insult. I ate dinner alone. You don't need anyone, I told myself. I reinforced a window. You don't need approval. I ran a system test. You don't need to explain. The calm scared me at first. Then it settled in. Ethan texted again. Stay sharp. I replied, always am. Another message came in from Lena's friend. She seems really happy, I typed. I hope so. Then deleted it and sent nothing. I realized something while labeling boxes. I wasn't trying to convince anyone anymore. No defending, no arguing. No proving. I know I do this, I said quietly. The house hummed with steady power. Everything worked. I checked the door locks. You're safe, I said. I checked the pantry. You're ready. I checked my reflection in the dark window. You're fine. Lena posted another photo. City lights. A caption said, living my best life. I didn't feel anger. I felt distance. I turned off the phone. Good luck. For the first time, I stopped rehearsing explanations in my head. No speeches. No debates. Just silence. Just systems. Just me. And in that quiet, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Clarity. I wasn't crazy. I was alone. And for now, that felt like freedom too. I was making coffee when the lights went out. 1 second the machine hummed, the next it died. Again? I said. I checked my phone. No signal. That's strange. A notification buzzed, half loaded. Emergency alert, then it froze. Don't do this, I muttered. I refreshed the screen. Nothing. Another alert tried to load and vanished. Water sputtered when I turned the sink. No. I flipped on the radio. Static filled the room, then a broken voice. Cybernetic grid failure, remain calm. The signal cut out. I whispered. That's bad. I checked my phone again. Dead, of course. Another buzz came and stopped mid-vibration. Every device went silent like it was planned. I locked the front door. Okay, I said, protocol. My hands shook as I moved. I pulled the blinds. I checked the breaker. I switched power. The generator kicked on with a steady growl. Lights returned, soft and reliable. I exhaled. Good. Sirens wailed outside. One. Then more. Then all at once I said out loud, this is real. The radio crackled again. No timeline. Repeat. No timeline. No timeline? I asked the empty room. Someone slammed their fist on my door. Help! A woman shouted. Please help! I checked the camera. Mrs. Caldwell stood there, crying, shaking. I knew it would be you, I said. I opened the door. Come in. Hurry. She stumbled inside. Everything stopped. My phone, my TV, the water. I know, I said. Sit down. She looked around at the lights. You still have power. I planned for this, I said. Her voice trembled. They said it couldn't happen. They always do, I replied. She clutched her purse. Is it a war? I don't know, I said. But it's not small. Outside, glass shattered. Someone screamed. Then silence followed. Mrs. Caldwell whispered, your wife was wrong about you. The words hit harder than the outage. I swallowed. She laughed at me. Mrs. Caldwell touched my arm. I didn't. The sirens faded and never returned. I checked my phone again. Still dead. Networks are gone. She asked softly. What do we do now? I looked at the house, every system I built, while Lena rolled her eyes. We follow steps, I said. We don't panic. Mrs. Caldwell shook her head. I thought someone would fix this. I answered quietly, no one is coming. The radio hissed and died completely. She started crying. I'm scared. I know, I said. So am I. She looked at me. But you're ready. I nodded. As ready as anyone can be. Outside, the street lights stayed dark. I stood there listening to the generator hum, steady and calm. This was the moment I prepared for. This was the moment Lena laughed at. I remembered her voice saying, you're ridiculous. I remembered smiling and letting it go. Now the world was quiet. No phones. No water. No answers. I locked the door again. You're safe here, I told Mrs. Caldwell. She whispered, thank you. I checked the radio one last time. Silence. I wasn't afraid. I was finally proven right. And as the darkness settled in, I realized the power wasn't coming back, and neither was the life I lost when she walked away. I woke up before sunrise and said, you're calm because you're prepared. Mrs. Caldwell looked at me. You don't sound calm. I'm fine, I said, though my voice didn't agree. She watched me measure rice. You're shaking. I didn't sleep, I said. Being right feels worse than being wrong. She sat at the table. I thought you were strange before. I paused. Before what? Before all this, she said. I used to tell people you scared me. I sealed a bag. You weren't wrong. She leaned forward. Now I tell myself you're a blessing. That word landed heavy. Don't say that. It's true, she said. You saved me. I turned away. I didn't save anyone yet. Night came fast. I checked locks. I rationed water. I whispered numbers like prayers. Mrs. Caldwell asked, will the lights stay on? They'll last, I said. If we're careful. A gunshot cracked the distance. She flinched. Stay inside, I said. Another shot followed. Then another. She whispered. That's close. Not close enough, I replied, hoping. Smoke rose beyond the houses. I said, that's not a campfire. Mrs. Caldwell covered her mouth. People are hurting each other. Yes, I said. And it's just starting. Later she slept. I sat alone and said, Lena, are you okay? The silence answered. I checked my phone. Dead, Of course, I argued with myself. She left, she chose this. Another voice said, you still love her. I whispered, love doesn't mean rescue. A distant scream cut through the night. My stomach tightened. What if it's her? I asked the dark. The generator hummed, steady and cruel. I walked room to room. You planned for this. But I hadn't planned for guilt. Morning came gray. Mrs. Caldwell said, you didn't sleep again. I'm listening, I replied. For what? She asked. For regret, I said. She touched my arm. You can't save everyone. I know, I said, but I could save one. She didn't ask who. Another gunshot echoed. I locked the back door. Mrs. Caldwell whispered, I'm glad it's you. I closed my eyes. So was she. Once. Smoke thickened on the horizon. I stood there thinking about a woman who laughed at my fears and a world proving me right too late. Prepared didn't mean ready. It just meant I had to choose who I was willing to lose to survive. Someone knocked on my door like they were running out of time. Open it, a voice cried. Please. I checked the camera and felt my breath stop. Lena? Her face was dirty. Her hair was tangled. She looked smaller. I know you're in there, she said. I can hear the generator. I unlocked the door but didn't open it yet. You shouldn't be here. She laughed through tears. I shouldn't be anywhere. I opened the door. She stumbled inside and grabbed my jacket. I'm sorry, she said. I'm so sorry. I stepped back. Why are you here? Because everything stopped, she said. The power. The phones, the water. I waited for help. Help didn't come, I said. Her voice cracked. I thought the government would fix it. I nodded. You always did. She wiped her face. Mark left. I said nothing. When things got hard, she added, he said this wasn't what he signed up for. I looked at her. Neither was I, she flinched. I know. Another figure leaned against the porch rail. I can't walk anymore. Who's that? I asked. My sister, Lena said. Sophie. I helped Sophie inside. She winced. I twisted my ankle running. I set her down gently. Sit. Don't move. Sophie looked around. You really did all this? Yes, I said. Lena whispered. You were right. I don't need that, I replied. She started crying harder. I was scared of how sure you were. And now? I asked. Now I'm scared because you were, she said. I handed Sophie water. Drink slowly. Lena watched me. You're not yelling. I'm tired, I said. She grabbed my arm. Say something. I'm listening, I replied. I mocked you, she said. I called you crazy. I chose comfort over you. And now? I asked. And now I'm begging, she said. I pulled my arm free. I didn't promise anything, she nodded. I know. I just need shelter. Sophie whispered, please. I locked the door. You can stay. For now. Lena exhaled like she'd been drowning. Thank you. Don't thank me, I said. This isn't forgiveness. She wiped her eyes. I don't deserve it. No, I agreed. She looked up. Do you hate me? I thought about it. No, that would be easier. What is it then? She asked. It's remembering everything, I said. She nodded slowly. I left when it was easy. And you came back when it burned, I replied. She looked around the room. You kept everything. Yes, I said, including the pain. Sophie shifted. You didn't have to help us. I know, I said. Lena whispered. Why did you? I met her eyes. Because I still have a heart. Not because I forgot. Not because I forgave, because I remembered who I was. Outside, the world burned quietly. Inside, we stood in the wreckage of a marriage, breathing the same air again, knowing nothing would ever be the same. And knowing survival didn't mean reunion, only coexistence under one roof, waiting to see which truths would last longer than the fire. I laid out rules without saying them. We didn't touch. We didn't argue. We didn't pretend. Lena noticed. You don't look at me. I'm busy, I said. She watched me check doors, radios, schedules. You're calm. I have to be, I replied. Sophie said, thank you. Every morning. You don't need to keep saying that, I told her. I do, she said. You saved us. Lena stiffened every time. At dinner, silence pressed hard. Sophie spoke carefully. What's the plan tomorrow? We stay quiet, I said. We conserve. Lena asked. You always sound sure. I sound prepared, I answered. A knock came just after dusk. Hard. Demanding. I checked the camera. It's Ray. Who? Lena asked. Neighbor, I said. Stay back. I opened the door a crack. What do you want? Ray sneered. Heard you got power. Not for sharing, I said. He leaned closer. People talk. People should stop, I replied. He glanced past me. You got women inside. That's not your concern. He lowered his voice. I'll trade. I don't trade security, I said. Ray's smile vanished. You think you're better? No, I said. I think you're desperate. He stepped back. This ain't over. I locked the door. My hand stayed steady. Sophie whispered. That man scared me. That's the point, I said. Lena stared at me. You didn't even hesitate. I don't hesitate anymore. Later, she cornered me near the sink. How did you know this would happen? I didn't, I said. She frowned. Then why all this? Because I accepted uncertainty, I replied. She repeated it softly. You accepted uncertainty? Yes, I said. I didn't wait for permission. She looked away. I waited for comfort. Sophie said from the table, He's strong. Lena flinched. I said, Strength is quiet. Night fell. I checked locks again. Lena whispered, You're different. I was always this, I replied. She hesitated. I see it now. I know, I said. She asked, Do you ever rest? When it's safe, I answered. Outside. Footsteps passed. Then faded. Sophie said, I trust you. I nodded. That matters. Lena sat across from me. I threw this away. I met her eyes. You let go. She swallowed. I don't know how to reach you. You don't, I said. The walls weren't physical. They were choices, and I stood behind mine, protecting everyone, including myself. While Lena finally understood that love without respect was just noise, and preparation wasn't fear. It was acceptance, and acceptance was something she had never learned until it was too late. Ray came back at dawn. I heard the fence first, then a curse. Open the door, he shouted. We need to talk. I checked the camera. You need to leave. He kicked the gate. You don't own the street. I own this house, I said. He rushed the door before I could finish. I slammed it shut. His shoulder hit hard. Bone cracked. He screamed. You broke my arm. You broke your choice, I replied. Neighbors shouted. Someone cried. Fear moved faster than truth. I stepped outside just long enough to say, Go home, all of you. Ray sat on the ground, sweating. He attacked me, he yelled. I said calmly, He forced entry. No one argued. Inside, Lena whispered, You didn't panic. I couldn't, I said. By noon, people knocked politely. A man asked, Can we talk? I said, Quickly. A woman said, We heard you have power. I have rules, I replied. They nodded. We'll listen. I gathered them on the porch. No weapons, no crowding, no freeloading. Someone asked, What do we get? You get order, I said. They agreed because fear makes good listeners. Later, Lena watched me assign shifts, share water, set boundaries. You sound like a leader, she said. I sound like someone who planned, I replied. That night, the radio crackled. Lena froze. Turn it up. A broken voice said, Infrastructure failure, no recovery timeline, regional response unavailable. She whispered, No one's coming. I said nothing. She sat down hard. I waited for help. I know, I said. She started shaking. I left you because you scared me. I watched her closely. You reminded me, she said, that life isn't guaranteed. I asked, And now? Now I see it, she cried. I divorced certainty. The words hung between us. She sobbed. I thought love meant safety. It means honesty, I replied. She looked up. You never lied. I never promised comfort, I said. She wiped her face. I chose denial. Yes, I said. Her voice broke. I threw away the only man who accepted reality. I didn't soften. Outside, people argued quietly, following rules they didn't like but needed. Lena whispered, You don't need me anymore, I answered. That's not new. She flinched. I need you. I know, I said. The power shifted then, not loudly, not cruelly, just truth settling in. She saw it in my eyes. I wasn't waiting, I wasn't hoping, I was leading. And she finally understood that strength didn't beg, didn't explain, and didn't chase people who only believed when everything started falling apart around them. Proving that fear wasn't the enemy, denial was, and it always collapsed first. Lena sat across from me and said, Can we talk? We're talking, I replied. She twisted her hands. I don't know where we stand. We stand where we are, I said. That's not an answer, she said. It's the only one I have. She leaned closer. I miss you. I didn't move. You miss safety. She flinched. That's not fair. It is, I said. You didn't miss me when things were easy, she whispered. I was wrong. I know, I replied. She searched my face. Do you still love me? I thought before answering. Love isn't the problem. Then what is? She asked. Respect, I said. She nodded slowly. I broke both. Yes, I said. She swallowed. I want to earn them back, I stood. That's not something you ask for. She watched me walk away. So what happens now? Now we survive, I said. That night, Mrs. Caldwell didn't wake up. Sophie found her first. She's not breathing. I checked anyway. I already knew. Lena whispered. She was fine yesterday. Yesterday ended, I said. We sat with her until morning. No sirens. No prayers. Just quiet. Lena cried. She trusted us. Yes, I said. She said you were a blessing. Lena added. I closed my eyes. She didn't deserve this. No one does, Lena replied. We buried her behind the trees. No ceremony. Lena asked, is this my fault? I looked at her. It's nobody's fault. She shook. I didn't think people would die. I did, I said. That truth hit her harder than anger ever could. Later, she said, I don't know how you carry this. I don't, I replied. I accept it, she whispered. I don't recognize myself anymore. That's what happens when illusions break, I said. She sat beside me. I'm scared to be alone. So was I answered. She reached for my hand and stopped herself. I don't know my place. You're a guest, I said gently. She nodded. I understand. That was new, she said quietly. I watched her die knowing help wasn't coming. Yes, I replied. That's reality. She looked at me. You've been living with that reality for years. I didn't respond. That night I checked supplies alone. Not for them. For me, I realized something while sealing a container. I wasn't surviving to prove anything anymore. Not to Lena. Not to neighbors. Not to the past. I was surviving because I chose to. Lena stood in the doorway. You're different. I finally am, I said. She whispered. I regret everything. I met her eyes. Regret is heavier than hunger. She nodded, tears falling. I feel that now. I turned back to my work. Good. Not cruel. Not kind. Just honest. Mrs. Caldwell was gone. The world was smaller. And in that loss I felt something solid form inside me. I wasn't holding everything together for others anymore. I was holding myself. The radio crackled at noon, clear for the first time in days. I turned it up. Secure relocation point established. Experienced planners needed. Repeat experienced planners. I froze. Sophie said, Did you hear that? Yes, I said. Lena stepped closer. What does that mean? It means someone planned ahead, I replied. The voice returned. Organized communities, resource management leadership roles available. Sophie whispered. That's you. I didn't answer. Lena smiled for the first time in days. We're leaving. I looked at her. You're assuming. She blinked. Why wouldn't I? I turned the radio down. Sit, she did, slowly. What aren't you saying? They want people who already know how to lead, I said. You do, she replied quickly. Yes, I said, I do. Sophie asked, Is it safe? As safe as anything now, I said. Lena reached for my hand and stopped halfway. This is our chance. Our? I repeated. She nodded. A fresh start. I thought about the nights alone, the papers on the table, the laughter. I said calmly, I didn't earn this by accident. She swallowed. I know. They're trusting me, I continued. Not us. Her smile faded. You're saying that like it matters. It does, I said. She leaned forward. You wouldn't leave me. I didn't answer. Sophie looked between us. Maybe give him space. Lena shook her head. No, I need to know. I met her eyes. I didn't grow to punish you. She whispered, Then what is this? This is me choosing, I said. She frowned. Choosing what? Who I want to be, I replied. She stood. And who is that? Someone who doesn't disappear for comfort, I said. Her voice cracked. I'm not that person anymore. I know, I replied. But I can't build on fear. She stepped back. I came back. When the world burned, I said. She flinched. That's not fair. It's true, I replied. The radio crackled again. Departures at dawn. Final call. Lena whispered. We should pack. You should, I said gently. Her eyes filled. You're not coming with me. I didn't say that, I replied. Then say it, she demanded. I took a breath. I'm going because I earned it. And me? She asked. You're going because you need it, I said. She stared. You're separating us. I'm defining myself, I replied. She shook her head. This isn't revenge. No, I said. It's growth. Sophie stood. I'll be ready. Lena whispered, You don't need me anymore. I never needed you to survive, I said softly. I wanted you to choose me. She cried quietly. I'm choosing now. I know, I said. But timing matters. The silence stretched. I looked around the house. Every system, every choice, every sacrifice. This was my life, my work, my future. Lena said, If I wait, will you wait too? I answered honestly. I don't wait anymore. She nodded, broken but understanding. The power had shifted without shouting, not because she lost, but because I finally stopped shrinking. When the radio went silent again, I knew my answer. I wasn't becoming someone new. I was becoming who I always was, without apology, without fear, and without handing my future to someone who only believed in me when everything else was gone. I told Lena at sunrise, I've made my decision. She looked at the bags by the door. I knew you would. You didn't know this part, I said. She stepped closer. Say it anyway. I forgive you, I said. Her shoulders relaxed. Thank you. But I don't trust you, I added. She froze. Those aren't the same? No, I said. They never were. She shook her head. I changed. I believe that, I replied. It doesn't erase choices, she whispered. You're leaving without me. I'm leaving, I said. You're not coming with me. Her breath caught. After everything? After everything, I said. She sat down hard. I came back. When it was hard, I replied. She cried quietly. I know. I won't rebuild something, I said. That only mattered when the world collapsed. She covered her face. I wasn't trying to use you. I'm not accusing you, I said. I'm protecting myself. She looked up. So this is it? This is it, I replied. No yelling. No anger. Just truth. She wiped her tears. Where will I go? I've arranged transport, I said. A group heading east. With you? She asked. No, I said gently. She nodded like she expected it. Will they be safe? As safe as possible, I said. She stood slowly. You're really calm. I am, I replied. She searched my face. Do you feel nothing? I feel enough, I said. She laughed weakly. That sounds like you. I handed her a map. Follow the route. Don't wander. She took it. You're still helping me. Yes, I said. That part of me didn't die. She cried harder then. I don't deserve this. No, I agreed. But I'm not here to punish you, she whispered. This hurts more than yelling. I know, I said. The convoy arrived mid-morning. Engines low. People quiet. Lena hesitated at the steps. If things were different, they aren't, I replied. She nodded. I see you now. I hope you do, I said. She hugged Sophie and turned back to me. I loved you. I believe you, I said. She waited for more. There's nothing else, I added. She stepped onto the truck. Goodbye. Goodbye, I said. The engine started. She didn't look back. I watched until they disappeared down the road. No triumph. No relief. Just closure. I locked the door behind me and felt steady. This was karma without cruelty. Justice without shouting. I didn't win. I chose. The engine started before the sun cleared the trees. And someone called out, We're moving in 2 minutes. I tightened my grip on the strap of my bag and said, I'm ready. A man beside me nodded and replied, You're the planner, right? I said, I'm the one who doesn't wait for things to break. He gave a small smile and said, Good. We need that. I stepped onto the truck as the sky lightened, hearing doors close and voices fade behind me, knowing I wasn't looking back this time. Sophie climbed in across from me and said, She asked about you. I answered, I know. She hesitated, then said, She understands. I looked out at the road and replied, Understanding comes late sometimes. Sophie nodded and said, She told me to tell you thank you. I answered, I don't need thanks. She said, You always say that. I replied, Because it's true. The truck jolted forward, and the house disappeared between the trees. A man near the front asked, You leaving family behind? I said, I already did. He didn't push. Someone else muttered, World's full of endings now. I replied, Endings make space. He glanced at me and said, "For what?" I said, "For choosing who you become." No one argued. The road stretched ahead, cracked and quiet, but moving as the convoy picked up speed. I said to myself, I lost a marriage. The words didn't hurt the way they used to. I added, I lost the version of myself that begged to be believed. That felt lighter. I remembered laughter, eye rolls, and silence, and I said quietly, "You can't build a future with someone who only believes when it's too late." The wind carried the words away, and I didn't need them answered. Someone behind me asked, "You scared?" I shook my head. "I'm steady," he laughed softly. "That's rare now." I replied, "It shouldn't be," he said. Most people waited. I answered, "I prepared." The truck hit a pothole, and everyone bounced, but no one complained. We were moving, and movement mattered. I watched the sun rise fully and thought about what stayed with me. I said under my breath, I kept my dignity. I remembered signing papers without shouting and opening a door without promising love. I said, I kept my values. The man beside me asked, "You talking to yourself?" I smiled. "I'm checking inventory." He laughed. "Still prepping." I said, "Always." Sophie leaned closer and said, "What happens next?" I answered, "We build something honest." She asked, "Even if it's hard?" I replied, "Especially then." She looked relieved and said, "I'm glad you're you." I nodded and said, "So am I." The road curved, and smoke rose far away, but it wasn't ours. As the convoy rolled on, I said quietly, "Preparation didn't save my marriage." That truth no longer felt like failure. I continued, "It saved my life." I remembered the lights staying on, the doors staying shut, and my hands staying steady. I added, "It saved my dignity." I wasn't dragged into forgiveness or revenge. I chose. Finally I said, "It saved my future." That was enough. The man at the front called back, "We'll reach the checkpoint by nightfall." I answered, "I'll help plan the perimeter." He replied, "I figured you would." I settled into the seat, feeling the weight of responsibility and the absence of regret. The world was broken, loud in its silence, but IWA sent single quotes to Dot as the road carried us forward. I thought about the woman who once laughed at me and felt no urge to explain anything anymore. I didn't need to be understood. I didn't need to be forgiven. I didn't need to be chosen. I had already chosen myself, and that was the only proof I would ever need again.